Good.
Hi, welcome to our second episode. Welcome, Chai with Dr. Rai. Today I have my guest expert, one of my very, close friends that we met. How long was it, Ellie? During COVID time, right?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
3 years ago. Ellie is a beautiful mother. How old is Crystal now?
She's now 7 years old.
Oh my, she was three when we met. I remember she was three, little girl. Yeah. Um, oh my God, obviously, I bring experts here. I am, Dr. Neelam, not your typical doctor, a holistic doctor who integrates both science and spirituality. And I bring you, my intention here is to bring you global experts, to support you in your healing journey, bring their own transformation and how they're helping others as well. So come grab your cup of chai or coffee. Comment here if you're a coffee person or chai person. And we have a very intimate conversation today because this is something that's not mostly spoken out in my culture. I'm sure it's in your culture too. You're coming from a diverse backgrounds, Asian cultures, living in in the United States. So tell us where you're joining us, if you're watching us live or later. So we have Early here. She is the founder of House of Helping Hands. She's also a survivor of domestic violence. So if you're listening, we got you. It's I can feel it. And she's also the founder and operator of the House of Helping Hands. It's a LA-based center for recovery. Using personal experience, she designed her program to address the root of continued abuse. And such a you know significant topic, and there's so much stigma around it that people don't, even powerful women, educated women, they are ashamed to share it or to get resources or support. So today I have your expert here who is going to enlighten you with her wisdom and how she has transformed her life. And now, tell us a little bit about how did you get into it. Obviously I just read about from your experience a little bit. How did the idea of creating something this big to hold a space for other women, how did this get started?
Well, yeah, thank you for that nice introduction, Dr. Neelam. I have actually started House of Helping Hands based on my personal experience. Um, as mentioned, I am a survivor of domestic violence, and because I experienced abuse in the past, um, at the lowest low of my life, I said to myself that when I'm back on my feet, I would like to be able to help people. And so um, now that I'm back on my feet, I established House of Helping Hands. And yeah, we are assisting victims of domestic violence. So while our focus is more on providing training to survivors of abuse, we actually partner with different organizations and we refer
Mhm.
them so that they are supported in all the areas of their need. So, whether it be starting from shelter, they need a home, of course. That's the very basic one. They need food, they need transportation. We have all those. Up to if, for example, they would need therapy for mental health support, as well as until they move out and are able to stand on their own already, because there's um, an egg rest for them. So they are no longer part of the um, domestic abuse system, but they are already contributing citizens of United States. So yeah, we provide holistic support to all of them.
Wow, I just love your mission, your values. So instead of going more detail, I don't want to relive the trauma. In fact, this last few weeks, I had a lot of clients reaching out for inner child healing and trauma. Why do you think people get stuck in this cycle of abuses?
Um, People get stuck because they are actually dependent on their partners, and financial dependence is the top reason
Number
for
one
being
is,
stuck, yeah, in the cycle of abuse. That was my reason for being stuck in that cycle. And that is also the reason why with House of Helping Hands we provide skills training. And a lot of organizations do provide skills training, but they don't guarantee job placement. And that's where we come in. We provide guaranteed job placement. So if we take someone in and we train them, it's guaranteed that after training, they will have jobs. So they will be able to support themselves and their dependents.
wow, I really love that value extension. It's not just one time and then you're on your own. You guys really take the time and effort and follow up. How does it take? How long does it take for someone to come back to their own feet after they come to you? What's the process like?
In terms of length, it varies from person to person because one person would have a different skill set from the other. So we actually base our skills training on the skill set of our beneficiaries. And just to give you an average from end to end, from the start that they would ask help from us up to the time that, for example, they will have their own apartment and they will already leave the shelter and they are already providing food for their children on their own without food banks, without any donation requests and things like that. On an average, it takes about 24 months. Yes.
Well, that is quite comprehensive process. I'm pretty sure it requires you are a nonprofit organization. So how do you get the support? And I'm sure the listeners here, small business, it doesn't matter how big and small. I believe that one of the reasons I thought of you so highly is because it is in giving that we receive. I really believe by this prosperity mantra because one of my mission is to elevate peace and prosperity, both in helping small business women owners to stand on their feet at the same time provide healings, which you are doing in a different way. So, friends, healing comes in so many ways. You don't have to be a healer to heal others. And LA is an great example. You're providing healings and resources and just and I'm sure you spend so many hours. um I know when we were conversing a few years ago, how much time on average do you spend just to get the initial, especially if somebody's so scared to speak out and they're scared to share, fear of judgments or fear of like, will I even get any support here because they haven't received in the past? How do you hold this space for others?
That's a very good question. A lot of our beneficiaries actually would prefer to be anonymous. And that's, I would say, one of our roadblocks. And while, yes, we do accept donations,
Mhm.
what we as an organization do to be able to support our beneficiaries would be to, I would say, carry our own burden. So we, for example, we have partnered with travel agencies. So you get we call it travel with a purpose because you get to go on a vacation. So similar to you booking it online by yourself, for example, just to give a very concrete example. For example, you're going to, I don't know, you're going on a pilgrimage, and online you saw a pilgrimage package tour for $4,000, for example, online. We provide that same itinerary, and you pay that same amount of $4,000. You go to the same pilgrimage areas and everything else, except that with your booking with House of Helping Hands, you're able to support victims of domestic abuse without providing any additional donation. Because similar to travel agencies, they have commissions, and those commissions goes to the nonprofit organization in support of our programs. And that's how we carry our own weight. So we do those kinds of stuff like normal businesses do. And but instead of looking at it as a profit, we look at it as a donation because it goes to our mission. So
I love that idea because who doesn't want to go on a vacation, right?
mhm.
Even sick people travel. Even we have families, and spring is around the corner. We had a long winter, and so I have posted the link here, friends. If you're planning, I know I saw on your Facebook business page you have a Caribbean cruise, some promos coming up. So I'll send all the links here, guys. This is one way, where you are, enjoying your vacation, but your portion also goes in helping a victim. So I think it's such a great win and win situation. You don't feel obligated that you have to give it out of your pocket. Also, talking about out of pocket, as a former CPA, I talk about charities. Charities, and a lot of people say, my family, of course, we come from spiritual leaders, and holistic healers, and generations of spiritual teachers, and we believe in the power of giving. But of course, back in the days, we didn't had big organization, or non-profit organization where you could write off. Back in the days, people would just use their own personal resources to accommodate, to help others out. The advantage with this technology world is that we can write it off from our taxes. And I know this is how big corporations become richer, because they are allowed, I think it's the AGI, or just the gross income, you can write off up to 60% of your donation. The meals they cater for others, the entertainment for others, supporting a good event like for charity. We can write this all off, and I'm sure you are partnered with the financial experts who can also help you if you're thinking about donating, and as a charity to also helping hands. So um, tell us a little bit more about that. If anybody has any questions or hesitance about if they want to help the beautiful cause that you have here.
Mhm. Well, yes, actually, for we see everywhere that donate now, and all your donations are tax deductible. But you see a fine print below that you contact your tax professional for for tax deductible deduction purposes. Um, with the House of Helping Hands, we are partnered with Zelza Solutions. Zelza Solutions is a firm, is an accounting firm, and because we are partnered with them, if you, for example, you donate to House of Helping Hands, we ensure, or Zelza Solutions ensures, that your donation are written off from your taxes, whether you are an individual, a small business, or a big business. So, and just to address your previous statement that companies can write off up to 60% of their gross income, I would say it also, because taxation is a very complex subject, but it varies from one company to the other. But there, we
Exactly.
see a lot of instances where that happens.
I love it. Like I said, I bring a holistic approach to, our healings, and coming from corporate healthcare background as a CPA. In fact, the nonprofit organization, the hospital, Catholic hospital that I used to work for years, and we had a whole department on philanthropy, and then that partnered with the doctors, and I love the idea because this is how I was so excited about, gave me more purpose to work for the hospital also. Well, I also saw the cost of healthcare, the cost of emotions and health, cancer patients. Tell us a little bit about, why people need to, more than ever, seek support. What are some of the, challenges if you stay silent? And what are the benefits when you get support in your healings? Because healing means different things to different people. And some people, because I've been, dealing, I had hundreds and thousands of, people commenting and asking for healing, but is everybody ready for healing? When you come from a domestic violence, let us know, or take us into a little slice of your personal transformation. Were you ready to, probably healing wasn't even the word for you. When did you start to feel some, sort of support and healings and the confidence to get out? Was there any spiritual practice that you followed that helped you to say, hey, enough is enough, I need to get out? How were you able to, sometimes when you're so stuck in that cycle, like you said, you're dependent financially, and then abuses comes in many forms, like it couldn't be just physical abuse, could be just probably sometimes it's so suffocated love that they're so possessive of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or they will use I have a recent client, very very good, educated, she's a medical professional, and I can see the trauma she's going through because there is this there's another thing that nobody talks about, is a spiritual abuse. People, using the religion to overpower someone. It's, this is the way it has to be. So abuse comes in many ways. um, how were you able to identify the red flags, and how did you get the courage to get out? And how can you give, the reason I know it's a very sensitive topic here for someone who's listening, because we have two kinds of audience. We have, beautiful people who are willing to help. Then there are people who are like us, maybe they're small business owners, women, but they're also, they have young kids and they're stuck in a relationship. What advice would you give to them, and what red flags they should be looking out for?
So basically, my advice would be love yourself. Two words, just love yourself, because everybody becomes ready at their own time. And for me personally, it took me years before I was able to admit that, oh, I'm in the cycle of abuse. And another few years before I told myself, okay, enough is enough. Because it's a process, just like everything else. It's a process. Um it starts with verbal abuse. And I would justify the abuse before as it's my fault, because being bossy to him. That's why he was verbally abusing me, because I was bossy. So I had to justify that part. And then it evolved to physical abuse. And I would justify again. Uh, I was physically abused because I'm fighting back. And I don't want to just be quiet, but I want him to hear my side. And so it escalates to a physical abuse. And that's my justification. And then it escalated to financial abuse. Oh, and that I justify it again as, oh, because he can't handle me anymore. That's why he was already out of job, and so I have to give him all my money and things like that. So everything, every step is a justification for me as the victim of abuse, just so I can justify what he is doing to me. Uh, and then it's only later on that I realized that no, I'm I shouldn't be justifying what he is doing, because what he is doing is his own decision. So again, I'm going back to the two words: love yourself. So if I have loved myself in the first place, I wouldn't be justifying what he had been doing, because I would be able to identify those red flags instead of saying he did this because it's my fault.
So common to see. And I'm wearing orange because in holistic healings, it affects our, we have our energy system, the chakra system. So
Mhm.
anytime when so love is like the vibration we are all born with. Anytime you give yourself shame, guilt, not enough, you are reduced. David Hawkins, he did a 30 years study of, human, symptoms and consciousness, things that affects humanity, right, on a level, on an energy level. So he found in his 30 years of, thousands of studies, anytime someone, what you just said, started blaming themselves, guess where they are on the chart of the vibration? The highest is 1,000, and in order for us to, for self-love, it begins at 100, at 500 is self-love. And that's the whole idea why I'm into, promoting, meditation. I integrated meditation and healing therapies, and your organization is also contributing to that. Is so shame is at, guess what level? Love is supposed to be at, 500, and where does shame come at? I mean, I'm gonna
Okay.
pose this question to my listeners, but I think I have a. It's very important. I want people to understand why I'm sharing this, because and why people need to get this support also from House of Helping Hand. So let me just put this here. So do you see we are behind this chart? Um, so love, you talked about self-love. This is what, all the healing communities, the whole movement about, the Shift Network, Gaia, all this amazing, healing podcast you hear. They talk about self-healing, self-mastery. Look at where shame is and guilt is on this chart. I call this map to your self-mastery or self-love.
Mhm.
Shame is number 20. That's like the lowest vibration that puts a person to. And
Yeah.
then there is the fear, right? Fear is at 100. And the guilt, I think shame and guilt will come at the lowest vibration here. So this is why I am here talking with you, Ellie, because this is so personal to me. I've seen this, um, you know, in my families, women especially, the cultural background we come from, where, they're programs. So these are the programs and filters put into our minds that if something goes wrong, it's your fault. And I think this is the reason it perpetuates into relationship. Do you think the foundation probably, um, I'm taking one extra question because this is what I'm feeding, being intuitive. I know someone who's going to question me. So, how do you detect someone who is abusive to you? Is it because a hurt person hurt another person? Does that person come from, a childhood trauma that they don't understand and they project it on their partner? Do you think that's kind of what happens in a relationship? If you are two adults consenting to live together, you love each other, how does this even happen? When does love become so sour that you start shaming and naming and because that's the whole reason we are all here, to learn love, to learn to give love, and everything we do is from love. Relationship is a sacred relationship, and when that sacred space gets affected, you start to doubt everything in your life, right? Did this happen to you? Started doubting everything, who to trust now?
Nobody. Yeah. Um, it actually is a reflection of what they have experienced. So if they were verbally abused in the past, they would have a tendency to be verbally abusive. Same with physical abuse, same with any type of abuse. And more often than not, these children, I would say, because it starts with childhood, these children who are exposed to the environment of abuse would also exhibit the same behavior when they become adults in life. And that is why we need to be able to heal these children as soon as we are able to.
I 100% agree on this. This is the whole reason, COVID brought so much awareness to mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here in America, we had 16 million children who didn't have food to eat.
Right.
They depended on school meals,
Yeah.
or they had
Oh,
abuse. Yeah,
speaking
go ahead.
speaking of food, yes, I would say nutrition also plays a role, because if a child is not properly fed, it kind of affects something in their brains, and they are affected um, in all aspects. They are already hungry, and they are still experiencing, or they are in the environment of abuse, and so it's double jeopardy for them.
Yes, I 100% agree. And I think it was so shocking to see in my healing, circles, so many stories were coming up. And I'm sure you were also in a couple of them. Um, that so many powerful people, women in our groups who are amazing leaders like you do now. But did you know psychological studies shows 85% of people come from broken families?
Hmm.
85%. So right now, there's probably 1 in 8 person, or 8 out of 10 person somewhere who probably is going to hear this now or later. They could say, I came from a broken family. Not because there was something to blame on the parents, because that's how it was passed down to them. Of course, our generation, we are taking a holistic approach. That's why I'm creating this integrative approach to wellness and wealth. We have to look at the root causes. And I'm so grateful that you shared this. Nutrition is so important because I had Dr. Grant last week. You talked about the importance of nutrition. 80% is what you eat, right? And if you're hungry, then anger is so easy. So hangry, right? That's why mothers don't go shopping when you're hangry, right? You're hungry and you're angry, and retail shopping, right? Retail therapy. Talk about retail therapy. Like so many women, they succumb to, retail therapy to kind of pose themselves, right? I mean, to make themselves feel better, but there's better approaches. Tell me a little bit about, I know I want to hear about if you're accepting more volunteers, and I know you have partnered with great, companies to support your, beneficiaries. Tell me um, some of the therapists that you guys are partnered with, what kind of support are you providing? What support did you get for yourself? And today we're seeing this beautiful, powerful mother and leader, holding the space for how many women you have in your organization, how many beneficiaries so far?
Um, s- since we started in 2020, we have already supported 285 women who were,
Wow.
yeah, who were
Oh
abused.
my God, guys. Imagine 285 mothers, right? Mostly these are mothers, I believe, women, young women, mothers. Um, I don't know, I keep saying mothers because I'm a mom.
Yeah,
And mothers, a happy mother makes a happy house, right? So
correct.
imagine the ripple effect from these mothers who get support. And
Hmm.
doesn't mean these mothers are broken. It's just because they were stuck in a relationship where they gave the power away, probably
Yeah.
raising the kids, and now they were not financially prepared. So what are the therapies, because this takes a toll on a woman's identity, a mental, emotional, spiritual, physical health on all these levels. I mean, of course I can talk about all the therapies through the integrated meditation and healings that people get to experience. How is your organization is helping these women who probably don't want to know anything about religion or spiritual? They kind of have a misunderstanding about what is therapy, what is holistic healings. How do you provide them support?
Hmm. So we are partnered with various organizations. Oh, by the way, let me go back to my statement earlier. Yes, we did. We have been supporting 285 women in total, but we do support everyone else because abuse is not just for women. Somebody can be abused and they are in another gender, whether it
Right.
be male, binary, or things like that. And we do support all of them.
Thanks
Our
for the clearance.
statistics,
Yes,
yeah, we
yes.
just have statistics for women because when you
Yeah.
say abuse, we just look at women, but
Right.
we support everyone. And so, with the therapy that we provide to them, it's actually it spans from all areas, from traditional therapy, the traditional talk therapy, up
Mhm,
to as far as the spiritual part of
mhm,
therapy, because the effect of abuse varies from one person to the other. Sometimes it's buried down deep, like
mhm.
similar to me. I tried to bury it and I tried to forget it, and it took me a long time for to be able to heal because we have to dig it up.
Right.
And the only way to dig it up would be through the holistic healing. So Dr. Neelam is one of the people
Oh,
who
thank you.
provided support, and we are partnered with other organizations. So Compassionate Transformation Community is another nonprofit, and they provide mental health assistance. And so we partner with them. We refer our beneficiaries to them, and there are a lot of different organizations that we are
Mhm.
partnered with. Again, it um, it is dependent on the beneficiary's needs. There is no cookie cutter in terms of how we address the support that we provide to a person, because each person is different. So one person can be, I would say, can be healed through talk therapy, and so we
Right.
refer them to our therapist. But one person cannot be healed through that. One person can needs, I would say, shamanic interference, so we refer them to our shaman and things like that. So um, I would say, if House of Helping Hands takes you in, you're sure that you are well taken care of. And by the time we release you, you are a new person.
Good. That is song to my ears. That's what we are here for, as mothers, as compassionate leaders coming from our own transformational journey. I love that, holistic healings and holistic integrative medicine, even doctors. Dr. Grant last week was telling Harvard is now teaching integrative medicine to their new, programs, because people know they need more than just, you know, um, the traditional way of support, and even the traditional talk therapy is no longer, helpful for, everybody.
Mhm.
And our hospitals don't have enough staff to provide that. That's why we have these organizations. That's why healing communities started up. Why this is why coaching started, to support you in your health, in your wellness. And wellness doesn't just mean wealth. I mean, doesn't just mean your health. It also means to the from healing your health to, making you stand on your own feet. And that's the holistic approach to helping someone, you know uh, take and reclaim their life back, take their power back. And it echoes with my values and mission. And I'm so grateful. Now, talking about, all the amazing, partners you have. Of course, I have, been doing this for the past 80 years. We have, amazing healers. If you ever need that, I'm happy to refer my healers to you, my graduates to you, who provide holistic healings and who comes from their own inner transformation. It's not just from, book teachings or any certifications. I think when you transform your own life, you become the best teacher and healer to someone. And you don't have to be a healer, to heal someone. Through your experience, you feel that person. And that's where I think the whole world is shifting towards more integrative approach to healing, compassionate leadership, caring, inclusiveness. And these are amazing, amazing, things that your organization. I want to salute you for doing this. Someone who, and this, and I know as someone who sees this, does this on a daily basis. Healing is a journey, right? It doesn't go away. You might be okay one day, and next day you might feel grief, or you feel, this triggers. So there is continuous support also that your organization provides, right?
That is correct. And I would like to piggyback on what you mentioned about health, healing, means wealth as well, because I am a testament to that. When I would say I'm still healing, but when I submitted myself to the healing process, that's when I started to see wealth,
Right.
because you can't have wealth without being healed.
I cannot agree more. One of my favorite quotes, probably if you see me on social media, is "Your health is your greatest wealth."
Mhm.
And I want to share a quick example. I know a couple, seniors that normally I have young people coming to me, our generations, and it is so hard when you get older, when you reach the golden ages. It's so hard to break them through, break them free. They get so used to into the victimhood, to get out. So please don't wait longer, because I see this happening in my families, and they think it's okay. I don't think it's okay, because we are here to enlighten and, encourage, educate, provide you the resources. But when we that abuse or trauma gets so old, it just becomes part of your identity and you get so used to it. Wouldn't you agree on this, Ellie?
Yes, I agree 100%. A lot of times someone who is being abused stays in that relationship because they say, what will I be after this if I get out of this relationship?
Yeah.
And that's not identity, because even if, for example, you are in a good relationship, you each have your own identity. So you everyone needs to realize and accept the fact that we should have our own identity. And with that identity, you need self love.
Yes. So our focus today has been, thank you so much. Dr. Grant talks about the physical, mental, emotional. I talk about the holistic approach also on mental, the PMS, physical, mental, and spiritual. And then there is so much layers of emotion that, it might take years. What is the, um, what is one of your favorite therapies that if you have to recommend to the client that I was talking about who's going through this abusive, relationship, but it's not traditional abusive relationship. It's more of a spiritual abuse where they're using excessive power over religion to control this relationship. What has
My
been your favorite
my
therapy?
favorite, personally, my favorite is yours. Not because we
Seriously?
are talking, not because we
Seriously?
are talking, for real.
Oh my
My
goodness.
favorite is your approach because you look at the chakra energies, and then you make sure that everything is balanced, and you look at you look at nutrition as well, because as you said earlier, what we eat is what we are. um, and then from there, healings automatically comes.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
I would say
goodness.
my favorite is your approach.
Oh my goodness. And again, guys, we didn't talk about this.
No, no.
This is just Ellie sharing because obviously she's a pro in this leadership, helping people. And of course, you're partnered with so many. I think my goal is to keep it simple. Get to the root cause of someone instead of trying. And of course, I teach about hundreds of, dozen of healing therapies that is integrated into my meditation. They don't need to know what's happening to them. They just come and receive it. Sometimes when you are in such a um stress mode, all you want is someone else to hug you, to love you. So the blessing meditation that we do monthly is just to help you, to give you that hug to your soul, to your body, to your you know mental, emotional, physical level. It's just like I said, your love is at 500 and shame and guilt, this is 20. And what's the fastest way to bridge that gap? Because we are beings of love. And the opposite of love, the shadow, is all this negative or low vibration. And to help us to get back to our wholesome self is to begin to love. And we start to love ourselves when we start to infuse more loving energy. And there is so many therapies out there, like, I integrate with, helping you put that energy back into yourself, with whatever means is available to us. And I have the whole toolbox. Sometimes it's angelic healing, sometimes it's a meditation, sometimes it's a tapping, to release the stored emotions. And these are all science backed also. It's not just hocus pocus, some airy fairy therapies out there. I've studied, I've seen my mother. To be honest, I've never shared to anybody. My mother, uh, out of 10 children, the abuse, the silent abuse she went through, in raising the other siblings. And everybody graduated college except her, left behind. So there was a mental, stress on her that I'm not good enough. I'm not able to study. She felt the obligation, like, to take care of the younger siblings. And that's why when we migrated, her first priority was for us to have education so her daughters could stand on their feet. Here we are providing an education, way of telling you there is support. Get the education, that get the healing, that get the support from the people so you can stand on your feet. My mom didn't have that. Last year you heard about that she had multiple, a diagnosis where she had also heart failure, 99% heart blockage. The only thing that was keeping her alive was through the healings that I was sending her every day. This is an extreme case where I'm saying abuse can take, a silent killing thing. I lost our uncle who was a doctor 2 years ago. And again, the trauma of carrying that, you have to do it all for others. And you get stuck in giving mode. And the abusee or the victim sometimes gives and gives and gives, right? Because you feel like you're obligated also. Was there obligation also you see in your beneficiaries? They feel obligated, they have to continue to give and do.
And also the society
The expectations, right?
expectations. So
Yeah.
they would say I have to live up to what the society dictates, and so they keep quiet and just stomach it all in.
Yeah, but no more. This is why we are having discussion that learn from the experience. We're living in this is 2024. We're living in a place, no matter where you are, if you can listen to this, you have a smartphone, there is resources out there to support you. There's free resources, and there is no cost to get support from Ali's organization. Reach out, and at the same time, those who are on the victim side, I also urge all my listeners, my leaders who are in the wellness field, my spiritual teachers and healers, this is your why you are needed. So if you're feeling shy, please reach out to Ellie. I'll send the information against. And are you because I know there are so many amazing people in my community who will love to volunteer. How can they help you? Are you accepting more volunteers to support your organization?
Yes, yes, we are in constant need of volunteers. So for anybody who would like to volunteer their time, their expertise, their skills,
Hmm.
give it to us, and we would be able to match you with one of our beneficiaries. And we appreciate all the support that you can provide. And yeah, just fill out our form in our website, and we can take it from there.
Thank you so much. I know we covered more than I was expecting, but this is such an amazing, enlightening conversation where we get to see both sides. Someone who has overcome their own challenges, and now you're providing for those who are going through this, and plus you have partnered with amazing organizations who are going to support you. For people who want to donate, she also has those tax professional who will help you to write off your donations, you know um, and volunteers. It is in giving we receive. And also in the Eastern tradition, this is 2024 is the year of karmic balance. So it is in giving that you receive. I always tell these people this. I mean, many cultures that talk about donations, right? I think Christianity also talks about it. Islam talks about it. Our Hindu cultures talk about it. um, when we provide sometimes without the expectation in return, God gives you back thousandfolds. I've seen it in my own life. I've done, 90% of my teachings are free, and I get back so many, many, many folds back. So many folds back. And I still have students telling me. So that's the greatest gift that I get, to get someone telling me, hey, you try changed my life 5 years ago. It still continue to inspire me. Those are like things that will continue to give back to you. And I say, add to you to your spiritual rich life. So Ellie, thank you so much. Before you go, quick rapid questions. Are you a chai person or coffee person?
I'm a coffee person.
Amazing. Dog or cat? I
Dog.
have my pup right here. And what does spiritually rich means to you? What does a spiritual rich life means to you, or looks like to you?
Spiritually rich would be somebody who have faith, because we can believe in whatever God or in whatever power what might be. We can say we believe, but words are just words. It's more on faith. And if you have faith, then you are spiritually rich.
I love that. Love that. Thank you so much. And here is um, the links for those who want to, spring vacation. Yours, donation will help also. And those who want to volunteer, I have links. I'm going to post more links in here, and how to volunteer, how to contact Ellie to get more support. And this is House of Helping Hand. Again, my friends, House of Helping Hand. Here's the link where you can get more details to get in touch with Ellie. And thank you so much, Ellie. It was such a
Thank
great
you.
time to
It was
learn
so
more about
nice
you.
talking to you today.
Yeah, same here. I look forward from hearing the questions. Friends, if you have any questions, feel free to post it. We'll come back and answer it.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. See you for next week with another inspiring episode with, another holistic expert that you don't want to miss.